Hi there, Chad here from Chibi AI. In this video, we are going to go through another tutorial that we just dropped, and I'll show you the tutorial. We'll do a little rundown of it, and then we'll just see how it runs as an action inside of Chibi. So the tutorial is about creating courses, and so what I'm going to do is open up this widget here. We're going to go to Articles, and then we're going to go down to Tutorials, and we have Creating a Course using Modular Actions right here. Let's go ahead and open this up. And this gives us the guidance. You might even be watching this video inside of this course. I recorded the video and then I added into this tutorial, so you might be watching it right there. So part one, what we're going to do is we're going to create, and we're actually, in this tutorial, we're going to create two actions. One is going to create the course framework, the outline and stuff like that, kind of the overall guidance of the course. And then we're going to create an action that actually creates the lessons. And I think you'll find this interesting because if you look at here in this call out, one of the things that I talk about in the intro is while incorporating your expertise efficiently. This is important because, you know, if you just ask AI to create a course for you, then you're essentially letting it rely on the information it already knows. Nothing unique is being introduced, right? You're not adding your own, take or expertise or whatever your research and stuff like that in it. And so technically anybody could just learn that stuff just by chatting with another AI bot or something, right? Like there's not really much of a need necessarily to create a course just using information that the LLMs and stuff already know. It might be important if for your organization or something like that, if that's what you're trying to do. The organization of information is also valuable, but one of the things I'm going for in this tutorial is to show you how that you can incorporate your own expertise and stuff in it to make it truly a unique course. So part one, we're going to create the first action, and then in part two, we'll create the second one. But before we do that, one of the things you're going to run into is after part two, is it's going to talk about using it, some tips for success and stuff like this. It'll come down here and it'll have some AI settings recommendations. And it says to use an advanced model that's capable, stuff like this. This is some pretty good advice. If you're designing a course that for, whatever reason, maybe lower or smaller models, they aren't able to really, create what you're trying to do, then this is what it means by more advanced capable models, like maybe using Claude 3.5 instead of like Llama 7B or something. But all this stuff kind of refers to creating a role, right? Roles in Chibi are like AI personas where you can have it give the AI instructions and settings to write in a certain way or to write from a certain role or perspective and using certain tone and style and even unique information and stuff like this. And so here's a set a role as an experienced educator in your field. Okay. So I'm going to do that first. We could do that second, but I'm going to do it first. And I'm just going to come up here to experiments. I'm just going to click this plus button. And I'm going to name this one Cybersecurity Trainer. And next. And for the model, let me just close the tutorial once real quick. For the model, I'm just going to pick the new Llama 3.3 70B. And we can go ahead and open up the tutorial again. Now for the instructions, I'm going to say something like you're a cybersecurity expert who teaches courses, let's say creates courses to teach, and then we'll hit this fire button here. And this button just gives us a fuller role for us. It says your task is to design course content that's clear, concise, and such and such. Use friendly and encouraging tone. Okay. Stay updated on the latest cybersecurity trends. Now, you can't just tell an AI LLM to stay updated, right? Because it doesn't really have that capability. So what you might find is you might come into here and add some additional knowledge and stuff like that you want your teacher to have that maybe is something that the AI doesn't have. trained into it. So let's go into controls. So we want this to be not really much of a creative course. So let's lower the temperature some. Let's raise this. Well, let's just write it in. Let's just make like 3,000 the maximum length that it can write in one go. Let's lower this down to say, I don't know, let's say like 0.7 or something. Let's add just a little tiny bit to the frequency penalty so it doesn't kind of repeat itself too often. And then we'll close those up. We'll save our role and make it the active one on the document. So just as a quick overview, what we just created was a cybersecurity trainer. It essentially could be somebody who has this role in your organization or something. And we're telling it to use the new Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter AI model, open source, really low costs, very effective model. We've given it some instructions on how to act and set the AI controls on that. So we have our role ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into actions, and I'm just going to go down here into testing, and we'll get started on part 1 up here. So let's scroll back up to part 1. And we're going to create our first action, and it says create the course framework generator action. So let's just copy that. Actually, I think I might need to copy it from here. So we'll copy this, and we'll go over here in my testing area and click the plus button here. And I'll paste that name here, course framework generator. Next, and it says to use an ask for multi. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filtering for ASK, ask for multi. And then it says to give it a name of get details here, get course details. So I'm going to go into ask for multi's settings here. Just click this gear icon, put this here. Copy this course info for the variable name and paste that there. Now it says to set a custom source and give it this as the custom source. So I'm going to copy that, turn on custom source, and paste this in there. What this is doing is ask for multi pops up multiple boxes to ask for additional information to be entered. So what we're going to be asking for is the title of the course, the audience that you're going to be creating the course for, a course level, course goals, prerequisites, and an estimated duration, essentially. So this is the type of information that we want in order to create the course. And we're going to pack all that information up, and we're going to put it into a variable called course info. Also individually, these here are available, and we'll show that in the prompt in the next step of this task, the next task of this action. So we can keep going. It says add a stream prompt. So I'm going to come up here to the plus. Stream prompt is the first one, but you could filter. Click there. We're going to open this up. Let's turn on the settings, and it says to name it create task or create course framework. And then it'll be the variable course framework here and the prompt. So let's go ahead and, can I do it? Nope, no quadruple click. Let's just go ahead and select everything like this, the good old fashioned way. Okay, and I can click this gear icon to close that back down, paste the prompt in. Now you can see here that we're actually going to be taking advantage of that information that we enter in the first task. It's like the course title, level, audience, and so on. And then it has some stuff to include and what to go through to create in this course framework. All right, so let's go into the settings one more time. You see how it says current role here for the AI option? So what this is going to do is it's going to use that new role that we just created. So if I just hover over here, our cybersecurity trainer. And so the way that it's going to write, it knows that it's a cybersecurity trainer, so it's going to be training just a little bit better for our course that we try and design around pineapple pizza security. I know, funny demo, but it's interesting. Okay, so we got that closed. Now we can create our next action here. Let's go and save this one. Let's close this, and we'll create a new action here. It wants us to create one named lesson content generator. So let's just go ahead and copy that. We'll put it in here. Next. Now it's doing an ask for an input. Come up here. We want ask for input. And it's going to be add teaching insights is the variable. Let's go ahead and turn on the settings. And expert insights is the variable name. Sorry, before I said variable, add teaching insights is the task name. And the reason that we set the task name is because if we close this task, this step in our action, we can see what it's doing at a glance, right? Add teaching insights. All right, and then the placeholder it wants, we just copy this, put this in here. This will pop up when the box pops up when you run this action, and the placeholder will remind you on what type of information to put into that field. All right, let's go. It says generate a lesson content. It's going to be a stream prompt, and the task name is create detailed lessons. So let's go up here. We're going to add a stream prompt. Open it. Open up the settings. The task name is create detailed lesson. Lesson content goes into the variable name. It's going to be using the current role still because the same cybersecurity instructor is going to be the one, or sorry, cybersecurity trainer is going to be the one who's doing the work. So we can turn off those settings. Now we take this prompt and we put it into here. So what this is going to do is it's going to take a selection, because you can see the variable here, selection, and our expert insights that we enter into the field when we run the action, and it's going to create the lesson. So let's go ahead and save this and close this one down. All right, so these are the previous ones I created earlier, so I'm just going to delete these for now. All right, and just bring these ones that we just created just right now up to here. All right. So it says using these actions together. First, you run the course framework generator. You fill in the details, and then it'll create your course overview and outline. And then I have a pro tip here to add a blank space between each of the parts of your outline. And that's for when you go into step 2 and you start doing the lessons. You'll see in just a moment that the extra space is beneficial. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and close this for now. Let's go into our document here and the course framework generator. Let's just go ahead and run this. And you see the ask for multi has appeared. This is where we get to enter all of our information. I have some snippets already pre-designed to fill this stuff in. So course title, I got course title, the security of pineapple pizza. Our target audience, course audience is pizza lovers who have a CISP cert. Course level, I don't have one for that. I'm just going to make this intermediate. And then course goals, let's just put in here these. It says discover the risks associated with bringing a pineapple pizza into one's work center, why pineapple pizza should be risk assessed before eating, and methods to maintain compliance with workspace pineapple pizza policies. Prerequisites, only a CISP cert. I say only, but it's not exactly an easy one. And duration, we'll set it to 2 hours and we'll hit go. And what'll happen is we'll start getting our overview and the modules and stuff associated with this course. It's taking into account all that information that we just put in there. So I didn't put a ton of information, but what you should do when you run this is to just pack each one with as much context that makes sense to make it a truly unique course. And the information that you provide, the more detail and variety and your own experiences and expertise into it, the better the resulting course will be, because then it's taking into account like kind of real world stuff and not just AI stuff. All right, so we've got an overview, we've got our objectives, and then we have our module outline. And it looks like it made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules. All right, so now, like I said, let's go ahead and add some spaces between each of these modules. This was the pro tip that I mentioned earlier. Put these spaces here. And the reason I said that is because what this next action does is, if I open this back up, when you go up here, see how it's working off a selection. So the selected module. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to select this all the way down to here. And we just want to make sure that there's a space there just in case it doesn't try to like move down a line and override or make things mixed up a little bit too much. And so we've got our selection here. We're going to run this. This is our second action, the lesson creating one. We're going to run this and we get another pop-up. This one's for the expert insights. Now here is, well, actually, you know what? Let me go back for one. Before you run it, what I would advise you do is to look this over, make sure everything that's here is true. It follows what you really want for Module 1 to provide to your student, and make sure that the learning objectives, the key talking points, and all these activities and stuff, make sure that they really fit with how you want to teach this lesson. After you've made your adjustments, then you would make this selection. And then we can run this again and we'll get this pop up. I have a snippet here for this. Let's see, course insights. So the idea of bringing a pineapple pizza into the workplace may seem unrelated to security, but it can be used as an example to illustrate potential security concerns. The concept of pineapple pizza can be used to demonstrate how divisive issues, even those that may seem trivial, can be exploited by foreign adversaries to further their own interests. All right, so when we run this, this will get replaced with the lesson itself, but that lesson is going to be created using everything that was in that selection plus our expert insights for that particular lesson to add our own extra bit of flair into that lesson for our students. And so if we come down here now, we've got the introduction to the lesson. Main content is got down to a few different points. So it's got an overview, some best practices, common challenges, importance of workplace policies and procedures, introduction to the CISP framework. See, this is where maybe you would need to make sure that you're using a more sophisticated model. Maybe the Meta Llama 3.3. It thinks, I mean, it knows that it's this certification, but it's not a framework for, mitigating risks. But anyway, so you got practical application, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, this is just a demonstration of one way to accomplish these courses. Now, what you would do next is this is essentially lesson 1 is complete. And then we go all the way down. Oh, it missed this. We come all the way down here. Oh, look, it actually kind of overwrote something. So this is where you need to be just a little careful. Make sure your selection is correct. I might have selected a little bit too much, but basically what you do is you go to the next module, select it, run it, and then you would get the next module's worth of lessons. Then you go to the next one, you select it and run it. So you're not trying to get one action to generate the entire course all in one go. Instead, you're getting one action that creates the overview and the framework and the kind of outline of it. And then you have an action that you can select each module's outline and get the lesson itself created within the framework. And what you'll end up with is a result that is more in tune or aligned with what you want to provide to your students, rather than just relying on AI to completely do it from scratch for you. And this is one of the reasons that we almost kind of say that this is agent-like in a way, because what we can do is start making our actions a little bit more powerful and have a little bit of reasoning and stuff in them. But at the same time, you're involved, because ultimately when you're using AI to create content, there's usually a reason behind it. There's usually something that is yours that you're trying to get across in that lesson to bring something unique to it. And so that by doing an action this way, or technically 2 actions in this case, to accomplish this, then you can create something really, really good for your students. Now, of course, when the lessons are all complete and everything, you'd want to do a review, make sure that everything fits the way you want it to before you would actually publish it out to the world for your students to start using. But there's something else I want to bring up about this is, if you don't like how these lessons are being created from this tutorials prompt, then what you can do is just come into this prompt here and adjust it and change it to fit your needs better. There's no way that I could create a demo that can take into account everything out there, any way that you want to create your lessons or courses. So The beauty of this is once you've created this, you're able to come into here, make all kinds of adjustments to it, change up what you want to have in your lessons. Same thing in the other one, in the course framework. Change it up. Maybe you don't want things to be laid out like this. Maybe you don't even want to use this much information. You could change this as well. It's all yours to change and adjust to fit your specific needs more cleanly and to be a tool that produces the type of courses that you want to create for your students. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section below if you're on YouTube, or hit us up in the Chibi community, and we'll be glad to help you out. Until next time, take care.